Hello everyone, and we're going to continue chapter 7 of the checklist for Christmas, A Perfect Christmas by Judith Blahnik. Doubleday Dell Publishing Group Incorporated, 1540 New York, New York, 10036, 1996. Gifts from the kitchen. Here are the recipes for a few delectable cookies, candy, jams, and chutneys. Wrap the cookies in cellophane, pack them into bright tins, or heap them onto gift platters or into colorful baskets with jars of jams and spicy chutneys. Sharon Kapinski's Bourbon Balls. They're easy to make, classic Christmas sweets. Sharon uses a salad shooter to crush her vanilla wafers. I use the blender on crush for 10 seconds. 6 ounces chocolate morsels, 1 cup confectioner's sugar or icing sugar, plus extra for rolling. 1/3 a cup of evaporated milk, 1/3 a cup of bourbon or rum or brandy, 2 cups of vanilla wafer crumbs, half a cup of chopped pecans. Melt the chocolate in the top of a double boiler over hot but not boiling water until smooth. Cool slightly. In a mixing bowl, combine the chocolate and the confectioner's sugar and stir until blended. Add the evaporated milk, bourbon, wafers, and nuts and stir until a stiff batter forms. Shape into 1-inch balls and roll the balls in confectioner's sugar. Place in a covered container between layers of wax paper and keep in a cool place. Makes about 4 dozen. Chad's favorite chocolate peanut butter bonbons. These are such a favorite in the Kapinski house that Sharon used to have to hide them from her son Chad, who would devour them all before the holiday. Sharon makes a double batch nowadays just to make sure they'll last. 2 cups of confectioner's or icing sugar, half a cup of chocolate wafer crumbs, half a cup of graham cracker crumbs, 3/4 cup of chopped hazelnuts or pecans, half a cup of flaked coconut, half a cup or 1 stick of butter or margarine, half a cup of smooth peanut butter, half a cup of semi-sweet chocolate morsels, 3 tablespoons of margarine. In a large bowl, combine the confectioner's sugar, wafer and cracker crumbs, nuts, and coconut. In a small saucepan, melt butter and peanut butter until smooth. Stir into crumb mixture until well moistened. Shape the mixture into 1-inch balls. Melt the chocolate and margarine in the top of a double boiler over hot but not boiling water until smooth. Cool slightly. Roll each ball in the chocolate mixture until well coated. Using a wooden pick, spear each ball in place on a wax paper. Chill well before storing. Place the chilled bonbons in a covered container between layers of wax paper and store in a cool place. Makes 4 dozen. Rocky Road bars. These rich 3-layered chocolate nut bars are well worth the time it takes to make them. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Grease and flour a 9 by 13-inch pan. For the cookie base, half a cup of butter or margarine, 1 ounce unsweetened chocolate, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a cup of chopped walnuts. Melt the butter and unsweetened chocolate in a small saucepan over hot but not boiling water until smooth. Cool slightly. In a large bowl, combine the sugar, egg, vanilla, flour, baking powder, and nuts. Stir in the chocolate until well blended. Spread evenly in prepared pan. For the filling, 6 ounces of cream cheese, half a cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of butter softened, 1 egg, 2 tablespoons all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of vanilla, 1/4 cup of chopped walnuts, 6 ounces semi-sweet chocolate morsels, 2 cups miniature marshmallows. In a large bowl, combine the cream cheese, sugar, butter, and egg and beat until smooth. Add the flour and vanilla and continue beating until fluffy. Stir in the nuts until well blended. Spread filling over cookie mixture in the pan. Sprinkle with chocolate chips. Bake until firm, 25 to 30 minutes. Sprinkle evenly with marshmallows and bake 2 minutes longer. For the frosting, 2 ounces of cream cheese, 1 ounce unsweetened chocolate, 1/4 cup of butter, 1/4 cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 3 cups confection or icing sugar. In a saucepan, melt the cream cheese, chocolate, butter, milk, and vanilla until smooth. Add the confectioner's sugar and stir until smooth. Cool slightly. When the marshmallows are just melted on top of the filling, spread evenly with frosting and swirl. Refrigerate until well cooled. Cut into approximately 2 1/4-inch squares and store in between layers of wax paper in a tightly covered container in a cool place. Mix 24 bars. Nana Foland's Crescents. Ginny Foland's mother-in-law has been making these every holiday for as long as Ginny has known her. 1 cup or 2 sticks of butter or margarine softened, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 2 cups all-purpose flour, 1 cup of ground unblanched almonds, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, confectioner's or icing sugar. Heat the oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Lightly grease a cookie sheet. In a large bowl, beat the butter, sugar until light. Add the flour, almonds, vanilla, and stir until blended. Shape small amounts of the dough into crescents, about 3 inches by 1 inch by 1/2 inch thick. Dredge in confection sugar and place on a cookie sheet. Bake 35 minutes. Cool completely on a rack, then dredge each in a confectioner's sugar again. Store between layers of wax paper in a tightly covered container in a cool place. Makes 3 dozen. Mrs. Petrini's Sugar Cookies. A favorite neighbor to Ginny Foland when she was growing up, Mrs. Petrini had treated her own children, several grandchildren, church groups, and neighbors to these delectables. 2 eggs lightly beaten, 1 cup granulated sugar, 1 cup confectioner's sugar, 1 cup vegetable oil, 1 cup vegetable shortening, 5 cups all-purpose flour, 1½ teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar, 1½ teaspoons of salt, red or green sugar crystals. Heat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. In a large bowl, combine eggs, sugars, oil, and shortening and beat until smooth. Stir in the flour, baking soda, cream of tartar, and salt until well combined. Roll dough into 1-inch balls and place in an ungreased cookie sheet. Flatten with the bottom of the glass. Sprinkle with colored sugar and bake for 12 to 15 minutes. Cool completely on a rack and store between layers of wax paper in a tightly covered container in a cool place. Makes 5 dozen. Hazelnut Biscotti. This classic twice-baked cookie is popular with cappuccino lovers. 1½ cups all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/3 cup of shelled hazelnuts, coarsely chopped, 4 egg whites, 1 egg, 3/4 cup granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Lightly grease 2 baking sheets. In a small bowl, combine the flour, baking powder, and hazelnuts. In a large bowl, beat the egg whites and egg until frothy. Gradually beat in the sugar and vanilla until thick. Fold the flour mixture into the egg mixture just until well combined. Spoon half the batter into a 12 by 4 inch strip on 1 baking sheet. Repeat the remaining batter on the other baking sheet. The batter will spread lightly. Bake the strips until golden brown, about 20 minutes. Cool on the baking sheet on wire racks for 10 minutes. Remove the strips from the baking sheets and cut crosswise into 1/2 inch thick slices. Place a single layer of biscotti cut side down on a baking sheet and bake 10 to 15 minutes longer. Turning the slices halfway through the baking until light and golden brown on both sides. Cool completely on baking sheets on wire racks. Store between layers of wax paper in a tightly covered tin. Makes about 40 biscotti. Tom's Christmas Candy. The best almond brittle candy and so easy to make. Tom Foland makes it every year. Now you can too. 1 ounce of semi-sweet or milk chocolate shaved. 2 cups finely chopped walnuts. 1 pound of butter. 2 cups granulated sugar. 2 cups whole almonds. Grease a baking sheet and line it with aluminum foil. Combine the chocolate and the walnuts and spread half the chocolate mixture over the baking sheet. In a saucepan, combine the butter, sugar, and almonds. Cook over medium-high heat, stirring constantly until candy thermometer registers 310 degrees Fahrenheit. Pour this mixture over the chocolate mixture on the baking sheet, top with remaining chocolate mixture, and cool completely. Break into serving-sized pieces and store between layers of wax paper in a tightly covered tin in a cool place. Makes about 2 pounds. Cranberries and Grand Marnier. Among the sweetest accompaniments the late Bert Green ever gave me or taught me to make, this one is my favorite. 1 cup of orange juice, 2 cups of granulated sugar, 1 pound of cranberries, 4 cups, washed and picked over. Flesh of 1 orange with pith removed, seeded and chopped. 2 tablespoons finely slivered orange rind, half a cup of Grand Marnier. In a large saucepan, combine the orange juice and sugar. Cook, stirring over medium heat until the sugar dissolves. Add the cranberries, orange flesh, and orange rind. Heat to boiling and reduce the heat. Simmer until the cranberry skins pop and cranberries are tender, about 10 minutes. Add the Grand Marnier and simmer 5 minutes longer. Pour into hot sterilized jars. Seal and store in the refrigerator. Makes 3 pints. Apple Christmas Relish. Here's a terrific accompaniment for smoked meats that makes a much appreciated gift. 2 Granny Smith apples peeled, cored, and quartered. Juice of 1 lemon. Slivered rind of 1 lemon. Juice and pulp of 1 orange. Slivered rind of 1 orange. 12-ounce package cranberries washed and picked over. 1 cup superfine sugar. 1/4 cup apple brandy optional. Place the apples in the container of a food processor or blender. Add lemon juice, lemon peel, orange juice, and pulp and orange peel. Pulse on and off until finely chopped. Transfer to a large bowl. Place the cranberries in the container of a food processor or blender. Add the sugar and brandy if desired and process until finely chopped. Combine the cranberries and apple mixture in a mixing bowl until mixed thoroughly. Spoon into sterilized jars. Store in the refrigerator for up to 4 weeks. Makes about 2 pints. Christmas Raspberry Jam. Christmas raspberry jam, according to Ginny Folan, this is the homemade food that pleases all the relatives. She makes batches and batches of it at Christmas only. If she skips a year, the relative complains. 2 cups of fresh raspberries mashed, 2 cups of granulated sugar, juice of half a lemon. Cook the berries in a medium saucepan over low heat for 30 minutes. Add half a cup of sugar and bring to a boil. Add the lemon juice, alternating with the remaining sugar, returning the berries to a boil after each addition. Cook until jam is thickened. Ladle into sterilized jars and seal. Store in a cool place. Mix about 3 pints. Spirited fruit chutney. Make this to accompany smoked and spicy meat. Half a pineapple peeled, cored, cut into 1 1/4 inch chunks, about 1 3/4 cups. 2 pears peeled, cored, and sliced. 1 small mango, about 6 ounces. Pulp from half a large orange. 1/4 cup of orange juice. 3/4 cup of dark brown sugar, packed. 4 ounces dried figs cut into pieces. 1/4 cup of dark raisins. 4 dried apricots. Finely slivered rind from half a lemon. Finely slivered rind from half orange. 1 1/2 teaspoons candied ginger cut into strips. Half a teaspoon of ground mace. 1 cinnamon stick broken in half. 3/4 cup walnut meats. Half a cup of grated coconut. 1 1/2 teaspoons white vinegar. 3/4 cup of dark rum. In a medium saucepan, combine the fresh fruits, juice, and sugar. Heat to boiling. Reduce the heat and simmer 5 minutes. Add the dried fruits, lemon and orange rinds, candied ginger, mace, and cinnamon. Simmer 30 minutes. Add the walnuts, coconut, and vinegar. Continue to cook until all the fruit is soft. Add the rum and bring the mixture to just under a boil. Remove from the heat. Spoon into hot, sterilized jars, seal and store in a cool place for up to several months. Makes about 2 pints. Success tips for cookie gifts. Use the kind of fat called for the recipe: oil, shortening, butter, margarine. If butter or margarine is called for, use it in stick form. The same amount in whipped form or spreads contain more water and less fat and will affect results. For making cookies with kids, choose simple 1-bowl recipes. Make extra even double batches because kids can make mistakes. They also eat as much dough as they bake. Little kids should use sturdy spoons that are easy to hold, and try not to get them to lick anything that is made with raw egg. Freeze cookies up to 2 months. Once thawed, almost any cookie tastes as good as fresh. Be sure cookies are completely cool before freezing. Place them in heavy-duty plastic freezer bags or between layers of wax paper in airtight containers. Thaw cookies in their containers for 2 hours or remove them and let them stand at room temperature for about 30 minutes. If cookies are supposed to be crisp, refresh them by placing them in the oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for about 5 minutes. For big batches, use 2 baking sheets in aluminum foil that has been cut to fit the baking sheets. You can also use parchment paper. While on one batch of cookies is baking, ready the next batch on the foil. When you remove one batch from the oven, place the foil filled with unbaked cookies on the baking sheets. To keep cookies crisp, pack them in airtight containers. They'll stay crisp for about a week. If they do become soggy, recrisp them in 300 degrees Fahrenheit oven for 5 minutes. So stay tuned, y'all, for chapter 8. The Handmade Christmas is chapter 8, checklist for perfect Christmas, Judith Blahnik. I'll do some shout outs before we head out. Hola, como esto? Kevin Armello. Feliz Navidad to you. Hey, Amir. Hey, Hollywood Streams neighbor. So, Hollywood, everyone was unmodded and then remodded just for me to tell you, go to my first horizontal video under videos only when there and just comment on that. But if you type now, you'll see you're remodded because I told you. But everyone had unmodding. I just remodded you. Alright, y'all. Stay tuned for chapter 8. Have a good evening. See you in channels later. Peace.